Alright, we're looking at our newest purchase here. It's a very, I couldn't resist. I had to buy it. So, I'm working on, I decided I'd get myself a little portable. Not really a little portable. A heavy cast iron portable. Not super lightweight. Like these crappy things they make today are all plastic and white metal and aluminum and pot metal. So, said to myself, I'll buy a nice little compact saw that I can bring outside and use out in front of the shop instead. My big contractor saw is upstairs. Let me turn on the light here. This is a 113. Craftsman made a 113 for years and years and years, but there's many different models of the 113. It's a 27580, and I think if you look, I can get I think I can zoom in pretty good on this. That looks like an 8 right there. At first I thought maybe it's a B. It looks like a B. I think it's an 8. That's indicates that it's an 8-inch. And then you've got the 30 over here. I don't know what that is there. Why it's there. 31 over here. It could be the employee number. Could be, I don't know, some sort of code for something. But I'm pretty sure that 8 means 8-inch. But it doesn't really matter because I have the manual for it, believe it or not. I mean, look at this thing. All I did was take the compressor, blow it out, and vacuumed up a lot of the sawdust. It's got a modern blade on it, but it comes with the original old blades. Everything came with it. Everything. I mean everything. So I'm going to take a pail of soapy warm water and wipe it all down. I haven't even wiped it down yet. It's sitting on top of this metal cabinet right now. I don't have a stand for it. I'm looking for a stand of some kind. Look at that tag. Looks like it just came out of the factory. And look at the pride that went into making this. It's like a piece of jewelry. All metal. The chrome, I can see my face in it on these hand wheels. I haven't found anything wrong with it really yet. There's a little bit of rust. It's from the day I picked it up. The guy put it out at the end of the driveway because he had to go to work, and it was sitting there. I'm glad somebody else didn't take it. But the fence has got a little damage from the saw blade hitting it on 2 different occasions, it looks like. But other than that, the fence is working perfect. It's mint. And it's got this little gear here for fine adjust. It's got 2 of these little indicators. So the numbers stop where the blade is, and they start again. See? Here's your 0. Can you see that? I don't know. There's 1. So it's kind of weird the way it's numbered. I've never seen a fence with two of these little indicators for measurements. So you can cut on either side of the blade. I like it. A lot of pride went into making tools back then. It's got a little bit of dirt on here. I think that's mud. Maybe. I'm gonna take like I said, I'll take soapy water and wipe it all down. I bought some paste wax. We're gonna clean up the top, paste wax it, seal it up, and then I haven't taken this cover off yet here. But the blade spins nice and free. It came with the fence, the blade guard, everything except for, I'm a little disappointed, did not come with the table extensions. These things that bolt on here. So I think they were kind of rare, those table extensions. People made their own out of wood, I guess. It also came with the motor and a wire brush, of course. Every table saw needs a wire brush. So I brought the motor up separately because I cannot carry this thing with the motor. Let me flip that around. You can look at the tag. Okay, the tag's upside down right now, but there's the on-off switch. Works perfect. I believe the first thing I was gonna do was cut this cord off and get a new cord. Look at this. I have never seen an electric cord like that in this condition. So that's the original cord that this probably came with, I'm guessing. Probably the original pulley. This would have been a, this says Sears on it, or Craftsman, somewhere written on there. Right there, Craftsman. So this would have been bought when the table saw was bought. And here's the, look, it's still got the factory rebuild. I didn't see that sticker before. The, it's too bad, the little, that jeweling or whatever you want to call that, was a little worn off here, but the other side's just pristine. Tag is very, you can read everything on the tag. I'm sorry it's upside down, but we've got a one phase, of course, 115 volt. How many horsepower is this? 3/4 horsepower right there. Okay, let's go look at the rest. Okay, there was an extreme close-up photo of this box of stuff, which I couldn't make out what was what, but this is all this paperwork, all the original blades and components, and they would have been bought when the saw was bought. So this is a paneling blade, I guess. I haven't tried anything yet. I haven't cut any wood with it yet, but here is the there's a dado set. So most of these dado blades are still in the paper. Check this out. Those are your two side blades for the dado set, and then each of these have a little blade inside. The original envelope from Craftsman. Isn't that cool? It's from 70, 80 years ago. And it says Craftsman right on it. Made in the USA. So I also got this plastic case. Where is it now? The red plastic case. I had trouble getting it back in this thing here. Okay. This is a wood shaping, a molding head. And they called table saws bench saws back then. Bench saw. So this would have been an expensive component, like what do you call this? So we'll just slip it out of the box and I'll show it to you quickly because it's just too incredible. There's the paperwork for it. There it is. So I've got I got 6 different shaping blades. There's 3 of each in the case. I don't know if this was ever used. I doubt this was ever used. So you've got this type of here that's used today in modern cabinet making for corners, where you join your boards in the corners. Pretty sure. And then you've got these quarter coves, quarter rounds. Wow, I mean, that's just incredible. There's the vise for holding everything on the saw. All genuine Craftsman. There's the number. I've got also, I had a hard time getting that back in the box because that has to fit down perfectly in there. Got this thing here. Beading. So, I mean, I'm going to have fun with this. I want to try this out. And then you've got this for your arbor. I have to, I don't think this was ever used. A molding head back then, that would have been super expensive. I'm pretty sure it's super, I don't like to use that word super, I don't like to overuse it, but this is super cool and super expensive to have bought this. Yeah. In the original box. There's your different boards you can cut. Okay, what do they call them here? Let's look at this a little closer. So, the first one's a glue joint cutter. 1/4 round and 5/16 cove. 2-in-1. I don't think there's... Yeah, I think all 6 are in there. We just looked at them. Combination 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch 1/4 round. This third one here. Fourth one. And 1 inch planer and joiner. Bead cutter. Base mold cutter. So convert your bench saw into a joiner, planer, and shaper. Sears Roebuck. So that's pretty cool. I also got this brown file. Has a complete owner's manual, operating instructions, and part lists for Craftsman bench saw. And so there's an 8-inch, and it has the same number, 27580. So this, I don't think this operator's instructions are available on the internet. I looked on the Keith Rucker's vintagemachinery.org, and I could not find this document. So maybe someone should upload it. Maybe I should upload the whole thing to his website. So packed by employee number. There's the employee. Isn't that cool? So here's the list of stuff that went in it. Lock washers for rack. There's devices that go on. I haven't showed you the miter gauge. Set screws. Yeah, so. And there's way more than this came with it, because I don't see on here any of the just stuff I just showed you, the molding head. And so here it is. There's a picture of the saw. And you know what? The 10-inch, the 9-inch, and the 8-inch all look the same. So I'm thinking it's possible you could put a 10-inch blade, maybe just the top plate that goes in the... Maybe these pulleys are a different size and the top plate. I like to compare this to the 10-inch and even the 9-inch. See this little insert? What do they call that? 6307. Right there. So it's the, yeah, cam clamp, lever, insert. No. Is that it? No, that's a different number. Okay, over here, 6307, table insert. $1.14. There's the prices. So, what else? Let's see. The dado plate, $27.65. These numbers don't really, there's no order to them. I don't see that. But there's a whole bunch of stuff in here. So it tells you how to do things. It's kind of neat. I think it's kind of cool that all this time these things didn't get separated. Here's an exploded view of all the parts. And the price list. Most things back then were 10 cents. So let's see what the most expensive thing is. $11.52. Retaining ring, $63.31. You guys see $63.31 on there? I see this here, the cradle. I know what the cradle is. $13.92. Cradle assembly, $14.50 down here. So this would have been the cradle right here. This piece. 14. Yeah. 14. 35.70 is the whole cradle assembly. Yeah. There's some neat stuff in there. So it's got the size of the bearings as well, 39. $36, $27. They're kind of jumbled around the $39. Here we go. No, that's a lift nut. $39. Okay, here it is. $35.09. $35.09. Where is it? Where is it? $35.40. $35.09. There's a weight, 09. Table arbor bearing, $1.70. It doesn't say what size. Then you got your operating instructions for the motor. Craftsman 3/4 horsepower capacitor start type motor. And that's got all the parts in there too, I guess. See how it tells you how to tension the belt. I think it's just all around cool. All these years, there it is. There's all the parts inside the motor. There's a sardine type capacitor, I think. Goes in underneath this plate. From what I understand, is that 33? Is that the capacitor? Yeah, that's not a sardine capacitor. Where does that go? That must be underneath the cover there. It's inside the housing. So it's pointing over here. That motor is very heavy. I tell you, for 3/4 horsepower, it weighs enough to be a 5 horsepower. I mean, motors have changed a lot in 70 years. So you got your... Oh, look at this, more stuff here. Circular saw. An illustrated manual of operation for the home craftsman. So, yeah, this has got tons of pictures. There's some roller extensions you can put on there. Miter gauge clamps. Some apparatus for your miter gauge. I've never seen anybody use anything like that, but I don't know. Somebody might find this interesting. There's a little cabinet. I see a lot of people make these cabinets. Put a hole with a little drawer in it. First wood project you do, you make your table stand. It's a table saw stand. I call it a table saw. It's a bench saw, they call it back then. So you could buy probably the steel legs and then add your plywood. Make your table like that. I prefer this kind of table here rather than this thing. It's just a junk collector, that. So yeah, I'm pretty happy to have got it. The guy had it advertised for $25. Never even asked if he would take less than that. Don't bother. $25. Just the pleasure of getting all the paperwork with it. It's worth $25 alone. This stuff is for sale on eBay for the cabinet. The parts of this table saw is for sale for $300 and up. There's people out there are collecting these things. They're collectible now, so because they're so old. Now, I don't think they're that rare, but I think most of them are in pretty rough shape. They've been bumped around in a damp garage or a basement for 50, 60, 80 years. They made this, I think they made these saws up until the 70s, 1970s. So I don't know for sure, but I kind of get that feeling that they just kept making them for all those years. And I'll show you the miter gauge. So here's the blade guard. This came with clear plexiglass right here. You can pop that out of there. I wonder if you can make one of those. A new one. So it drops in. I had trouble. I put it in. I couldn't get it back out. so I had to take it completely off. There's a bracket in here I took off. This thing in this block. So this goes in here like this. This mounts to the back of the where the motor mounts. This little aluminum block still got the gray paint on it. There's an extra rod, of course. I guess the salesman would have told him, you know, you wear out your rod for your table, your fence. So the extra rod, I don't see anything wrong with the rod on it, and then the extra lever, so in case you break that lever. So he's got that. It's never been used. In the box, and it's just full of stuff in here. I don't even have time to show you everything. Full. There's a metal cutting disc. Yeah, that's a good way of ruining your table saw. Cut metal with it. Another wire brush. Yeah, just full. I haven't looked at this box. What's in here? Craftsman saw blade stabilizer. This is empty, this box, but I bet you those parts are in there. No, there's a little felt disc. Okay, so a buffing wheel. That is not a stabilizer. And then a stabilizer must be in there because everything else is. Okay. Anything else cool in there? I don't know. There's the stabilizers. So we got the 2 discs. I'll put those back in the box, the proper box. You don't need these anymore. I think modern blades now have so much technology built into them. Got those little cuts to stabilize them. These older blades, they kind of were. I wonder what year carbide teeth came out, because this is a 10-inch blade right here. No, I think it's a 9-inch. Number 9. I'm going to measure it. I think I already did measure it. It does not say the size. So this is a carbide blade. If this was bought... Is it carbide? No, it isn't carbide. It's just regular. You could file this with a file. So if this fits the saw, you can run a 9-inch, 10-inch blade. I think it can. He wasn't sure what it was. He said it was his father's, that he bought it new, not sure what year, and I never really talked to the guy. I only messaged him back and forth on Facebook. So there's the miter gauge. And it comes with these metal rods. I've never seen anybody use these metal rods. I guess if you're doing multiple cuts of certain size material over and over again, I guess you could set that up, but most people would use the fence for that, or combination of the fence and a board clamp to the fence so it doesn't jam up and bind. This thing weighs a ton. There's a lot of aluminum or zinc or whatever that is in there. So I thought I'd just show you. The chrome's in really nice shape. I don't think it got used very much. There's no wear on the bottom of this. That's machining marks from when it left the factory. It's probably done on a surface grinder. And then, see this machining marks? Don't know. Maybe a belt sander. Maybe it was done on a belt sander. I don't know. Touched up. Anyway, I thought I'd show you guys. See what you think. 24 minutes of a Craftsman table saw. I think it's cool though. Craftsman bench saw, 8-inch tilting arbor. And actually the motor tilts with the, back then you had tables that tilted, you had arbors that tilted, and the motor stayed straight and then slid over on a sliding. I have a video of that on the Tico saw, Tico Master. And then you have this type. This is what we all have today. It's the modern table saw. And the motor is fixed to the cradle. I can show you in the parts list at the back here. So at the back of this cradle thing, there's two It looks like 2 spots for some bars to go into, and it doesn't show how the motor hooks up to that, but that's the same way a modern table saw. It doesn't show you. It's the same setup as a modern table saw today, so I think that's kind of neat. Okay, there it does. It does show you. That's what changed table saws forever, is what whoever fixed the motor to the arbor, to the cradle. So as you tilted the blade, the motor went up on an angle, same angle as the blade. And before that, I think before that was standard, you had all kinds of different ways. You could mount your motor behind the tables, behind the cabinet, way behind, and have a really long belt, and it would have enough room to rotate. Or if you, I don't know, it's kind of weird. That Tico slides back and forth. So does the Beaver. Beaver's not set up for that right now, but there is provisions for that. And I have also one more saw I haven't shown you guys yet, but it's an Atlas table saw, and I can't think of the model number right now off the top of my head, but it has no way for the motor to mount to the saw at all, so you have to kind of mount it on a piece of wood or something behind. So this is the modern. It's pretty heavy though. When the motor's mounted on there, I can barely lift it. I can't even lift it. I was looking for tools in the truck I had to unbolt the motor, and I couldn't do it, and I just psyched myself up and lifted it in the back of the truck, or I wasn't going to be able to take it home. I was waiting for a car to come by, and I was going to flag down somebody and get them to give me a hand to lift it in there, but I was on a road where it was absolutely zero, no traffic at all. In the first 5 minutes, 10 minutes I was there, not one car drove by. So there's all the parts that came with that saw. They're all on here pretty well. Everything's complete. There's that plastic insert, part number 80. They call it a, what do they call it here? I looked it up. If you call Sears, there's no more Sears left, and asked for that part, wouldn't that be cool? They still had it. 80, here we go. Guard insert 8-inch saw, 74 cents. Right there. So all your parts are listed right here. Kind of the reason why I'm doing this video, even though it's 28 minutes now, it's long. It's, if you don't have these drawings, how do you know what goes where? How do you know if you're missing something? So maybe this will help someone. I think there's quite a few of these old saws around, but they would not have been cheap back in the day. And like I said, this would have been someone's pride and joy. There's the model right there. Thanks for watching.